Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, what does a gray gender reveal cake mean?
Also, this summer, are you a shark or are you shark bait? Hoo ha ha!
All that and more on the way next. Hey there, I'm Hudson. Ali is here. The RadioU Podcast, a podcast that has been called Top 10 Worst Podcast of All Time.
Oh.
That was on our Instagram recently.
I did see that comment.
At RadioU Official and at RadioU Mornings. You can find us on Instagram where we post clips from the show, all kinds of other good stuff, and where people kind of try to roast us sometimes.
Yeah, they trash talk us.
This, one of our recent topics that we did, we talked about the Utah Mammoth hockey team. They revealed their logos and their jerseys. And we like the logo, right?
Yeah, we like the name. We like the logo. I loved all of it.
But the uniforms are kind of boring.
Yeah, you had said that you thought the jerseys were particularly not exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there wasn't anything about them that was like, wow, I've never seen that before.
Any jersey that just says the place that your team is from is a bad jersey if it's hockey.
Okay.
And that is what the Utah Mammoth road jersey is.
Yeah, it
literally just says Utah
across the front.
Boring. And so we posted this, somebody posted this clip of us on our RadioU Instagram. And then people started hopping in the comments, I guess to defend the Utah Mammoth jerseys, but they didn't really.
They weren't really defending it. Although I will say, just to defend us quickly, the video is edited, making us sound as if we're trashing the regular one, like the home jersey that has the mammoth on the front. I think we both like that jersey. There's no frills about it, but it definitely is not as bad as the Utah one.
No, yeah, the Utah one is bad. There's nothing exciting about the jersey besides the logo. It's a great logo.
It's a great logo.
It's they're just not taking any chances with the jerseys.
Yeah.
But then I, in this clip, am wearing Packers gear.
Yes.
And so people hop in the comments and they say the Packers jerseys are even more boring. Okay. Nobody said the Packers jerseys, A, were exciting. B, all football jerseys are boring. Every single one.
Yeah.
They're mostly numbers.
They're pretty standard. Nothing crazy about them.
And another person said, what's more exciting than a Packers jersey?
A lot of things.
Yeah, most hockey jerseys.
Most anything.
Except for the Utah Mammoth. Another person said, you're a Packers fan. Y'all are just as boring. I don't hear anybody defending the Utah jerseys.
I don't either. And also, I would argue that, yeah, the Utah jerseys are better than the Green Bay Packers jerseys, but that's because they're different things entirely.
Yeah.
And we don't expect football jerseys to be as cool as hockey jerseys.
Also, keep in mind, the Packers have basically worn their same jerseys that were designed in like the 1920s or whenever the team showed up.
It's a historical thing.
Yeah, they're old. They didn't have cool computer technology to make jerseys back then.
Right.
The Packers only wear what they wear because it's historic and iconic. And yes, it's simple. And maybe some say boring.
And as you said, for football jerseys, totally different sport. They focus a lot more on numbers on the front and the back.
Yeah.
And so like their focus isn't on the logo.
Not a lot of real estate either to do fun things with. Hockey, you can get real creative.
Yes.
And the Mammoth didn't.
I mean, I would argue with one, they got a little more creative than the other. But
not creative enough.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. But I don't know if Utah's happy.
They seem to be quite happy. And again, I think the more important part is they found a good name and a good logo. They'll get the jerseys right eventually.
Yeah, they'll rebrand in 5 years
time.
anyways. They'll have 2 other jerseys that are their alternates in a couple years.
Yeah.
And at least they're not the hockey club.
Yes.
Well. What a coincidence. 8772 RadioU. The very same season as the Dallas Mavericks make possibly the dumbest trade, seemingly of all time, sending Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. It just so happens they get the long shot number 1 pick in the lottery.
How the turntables.
Yes, how the turns have tabled indeed. The Mavericks now, you think about this, right? Weren't they 1 win away from not even having a lottery pick?
I think, yeah, they were definitely close to not having one, and the percentage of them having one was not good.
1.8% chance of getting the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. who should be Cooper Flagg from Duke, considered one of the better prospects, not just, of a while.
Yeah,
I don't
not
know
just
if he's,
this year.
Yeah, I don't know if he's Victor Wembanyama. He's definitely not LeBron, but he is a very highly sought after number one pick. He's a clear-cut number one.
Yep.
And now the Mavericks get him. It feels all too convenient, doesn't it?
It does. It really, really does. I mean, I have to say, for their fans, I'm happy that they are able to celebrate something.
Mm-hmm.
Those poor fans, they were so let down after that Luka trade, and so they're able to be like, okay, this makes us feel better. But what I don't like is this gives Nico Harrison an out, even though he has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
But it definitely...
This isn't even like a pick they got from the Lakers for trading Luka or anything like that.
It just takes the pressure off of him, which, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve to have the pressure taken off of him. It was still a dumb move, but certainly now their focus will be on Cooper Flagg and not on Luka.
Yeah, they get to have some hope for a little while, but that does bring me to my next point. They shouldn't have hope for too long because Nico Harrison is still the general manager.
Yeah.
So give it time, and he'll trade Cooper Flagg for Joel Embiid or some other obviously dumb trade because he didn't know what he meant to the city. It was a mystery to me.
I had no idea this guy had such a, track record with injuries.
On the Mount Rushmore of current NBA players, Luka's up there. And I didn't know that he was so popular here in Dallas.
Had no idea. I was trading for a guy that, doesn't even play.
Yeah, that's right. That we'll be lucky to see the court. So just, I don't want to rain on the Mavericks parade, though. Their fans deserve this.
They deserved a good moment.
Even though it is pretty suspicious, to say the least. Mm-hmm. It feels like we could get an investigation could be warranted.
I don't know about that.
The NBA doesn't have any history of fixing things or point shaving or anything like that, do they?
I think
impropriety?
I think this is on the up and up.
Well, here's a throwback for you, 8772 Radio U. If you remember the show Fear Factor from the early 2000s.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
Best known, I think at this point, that's where Joe Rogan rose to prominence.
Yep.
Originally, that and the movie Zookeeper with Kevin James. But Fear Factor has not been on the air. It was originally on from 2001 to 2006. It had a brief comeback in 2011 that it must have been very brief.
I totally missed that.
And in 2017, it also made a brief comeback with this time with Ludacris as the host.
I also missed that.
Yeah, but now it's making another comeback, and hopefully for Fear Factor and for Fox, who's the one bringing it back, it'll be a little less brief and a little more memorable. They are bringing back Fear Factor. They're calling it Fear Factor: The Next Chapter.
Are they bringing back Joe Rogan?
I would be shocked. I'd be absolutely flabbergasted.
That's the only way I'm going to watch. I'm not going to watch this.
You were watching it for Joe Rogan back in the day, though.
I like Joe Rogan. I want the nostalgic host.
I think Joe Rogan, I don't think they could pay him enough.
It's just like I will never watch Survivor if they get rid of Jeff Probst. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, I think then I guess you're not going to be the target audience for this.
Nope.
Because I would be, again, shocked, flabbergasted, floored if they do bring back Joe Rogan.
They can't afford him.
They haven't mentioned that, but what I do have simply is the synopsis for the rebooted version of Fear Factor. Dropped into a remote location, a group of strangers will live together under one roof and face stunts, challenges, and a game of social strategy. That's incredibly vague. So
Survivor meets Naked and Afraid.
I don't even know if you can glean that much from that.
I know, but I'm
so
just
vague.
Like, it sounds more long-term competition-based versus, Fear Factor. The old Fear Factor was like it would be new contestants for each episode.
Yeah.
With 3 different
It was all
stunts.
standalone. Yeah. Which that seemed like a good format at that time. Now, that's just the kind of thing that's always on YouTube, which is why I feel like maybe Fear Factor stuff hasn't just bounced back.
Yeah.
I feel like it was ahead of its time.
Yeah, Fear Factor walked so YouTube could run.
Yeah, and now it's really being brought back. I feel like based off of this, in name only. It doesn't say anything about what kind of fear factor things are going to be, what kind of stunts and dares are they going to be doing? What kind of bugs? What kind of dangerous skydiving antics? What is going to happen here?
Are they going to make a girl shave her head? Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
I remember all of those crazy ones they did. So I don't know. I doubt I'll ever check this out, but it sounds like a completely different concept than what has previously been done, which maybe that's what they need to do because these reboots haven't worked for them.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no reason Fear Factor. I mean, there is a reason because it didn't, but it could have just continually ran. I guess at some point you do run out of stuff. Like they really safe stuff that you can safely do. And not, eventually you would kill someone or something. You know what I mean? So, they eventually had to stop. But it's been long enough. Most people have forgotten or never saw in the first place or vaguely remember what happened the first time. So they can cycle this stuff back. 20 years is the perfect timeline. All the people that, watch Fear Factor when they're very young, they're like, yeah, I missed that show. And then there's a whole new generation that has no idea.
Yeah, they've never even seen it.
And it will maybe it'll introduce another wild podcaster to the world. Who knows? Forget about Shark Week. It's Shark Summer, baby. 8772 Radio U. If you haven't seen, there's a new dating mindset for the summertime. People are embracing the shark mentality. Think about it. Sharks, emotionless, ruthless, bold. Nothing stands in their way.
Speed.
Yes.
Speed.
Precision. And so what many people are doing, and this is just going off on TikTok, is people are saying they're going to be sharking all summer. Where they are embracing the shark mentality when it comes to dating. They're thinking of it as like they're the shark.
Yeah.
Which doesn't say much for long-term prospects because they're, sharks are in and out. It's just a quick frenzy and then it's over. So I think that's probably what you're in for if you have a shark mentality. But it has turned into a fun joke of just like people showing how they are embracing their inner shark this summer.
Yeah, they're using all sorts of different, pop culture references, whether it's Shark Boy from Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah, what a throwback.
Yeah, or I guess some people were using segments from like a PBS animated show. Okay. So
I think I saw Left Shark from the Katy Perry Super Bowl halftime show from back in the day. Yeah. So they're having fun with it.
Yeah, people are indeed having fun with it. I don't know if I agree with the whole concept of sharking it up or having shark season. I think it's probably not super helpful for you to have this mentality, and not very healthy.
I feel like if it gives you confidence, that's something a lot of people need. Is confidence.
Sure, but confidence at the expense of somebody else? I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you definitely don't want to. Again, this is not. You're not going to wind up with something meaningful here, and everybody that seems to be doing the shark mentality is acknowledging that, which is not. That's not how you want to date.
Yeah, and also maybe if you're going to go for the shark theme, maybe let the other person know that you're a shark. And that way, it's not like you hurt their feelings in the process. Because that's what I'm more worried about. Exactly. It means nothing to you, but does the other person know that that's the case?
Yeah. Or are you both sharks? And then, is it a fight to the death?
Right. Or is sharking it up the point of like the other person doesn't know their prey? That's the point.
True. Until it's too late.
Yeah,
and then they're missing a leg.
Then there's a real problem because that's just mean.
Yeah. Is this just an excuse for you to be mean, or are we just are we having fun with it? And it's our way of giving ourselves confidence, and maybe the shark mentality. I can definitely see this working elsewhere.
Okay.
Like in business.
Yeah.
You got to be a shark.
This has already been known. Yeah. Like the whole Shark Tank idea is that business moguls are sharks. They smell blood in the water. They move.
And who wouldn't want to date Mr. Wonderful?
Me. Yep. No thanks.
I thought you liked bald guys.
No. Unless it's Danny DeVito.
Sounds like you might be a little bit of a guppy. Is what I'm
okay. I'm I'm good to accept that.
Yeah.
Title.
Shark mentality. Just proceed with caution. This is a great ad for the iPhone. A skydiver in the UK, his name is Casey Flay, jumped out of a plane with his iPhone 13 Pro Max in a pocket of his wingsuit. Problem was, he forgot to zip up that pocket on his wingsuit.
Oh, no.
iPhone goes flying on its own little skydiving adventure from 14,000 feet in the air. It landed somewhere, and you probably, have guessed at this point, he used once he landed, used Find My iPhone to find my phone to locate where the phone had landed.
Yeah.
Found it completely intact, working just as well, if not better than before it fell out of the plane.
It's working better now?
Yes.
How has it improved?
That's a good question. He says that a while back, he spilled a drink on his iPhone and one of the buttons got stuck and wouldn't work. But
and
after
now
it fell out of the plane, it's unstuck.
It just needed to fall 14,000 feet.
Yeah, now you know how to fix that. Just go skydiving, throw your phone out of a plane.
That's crazy.
So obviously that is speaks a lot of the iPhone. It also speaks a lot of the case because he had it it looks like he had it in a case as well from the video of him finding the phone. Amazing.
Have you seen those ads of that one company that's like the mouse case or whatever, and they do drop it we're gonna drop it from a building, and it's like shows how it keeps the phone intact.
But when it's actually an ad, then I'm like, well, they faked it. I don't believe any of that.
Well,
but this is real.
This is real. And also, I'm like, maybe this is just showing this is how well the iPhone is made. It doesn't actually matter about the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely could be true. And I feel like, so I don't know anybody that's dropped an iPhone out of a plane.
Yeah.
But I know several people with Apple products with verified stories that I have witnessed of them leaving it in water for days before they realized or something like that. Like Nene had an Apple Watch that he lost in a pond in a
he's told me about this in Hocking Hills.
Yeah, so it was in a waterfall. He lost his Apple Watch. It was found by some guy from Canada.
A year later.
And he sent it to him, and it was still working.
Still working.
And that was like a year submerged in water, in dirty water.
Yeah, that story is nuts. And yeah, that's absolutely true, where it's like there are plenty of those stories, but there are also, I mentioned this shows how well made these products are. They are very well made.
Oh, of course.
I use a MacBook.
Durable, yeah.
Very durable. But I've also seen people break their iPhone screens in the dumbest way possible.
That is true.
And so it's like it's funny because it's like it's very durable and it can, somehow survive falling 14,000 feet out of an airplane for a skydiving accident. But then, your friend accidentally sits on your phone and it shatters the screen or something random. So yeah, it's kind of weird how that stuff happens.
You also have to ask yourself too, are you planning on dropping your phone out of a plane? Because if not, this is not exactly the most useful feature. And I could drop the phone. I could drop this phone that I have out of a plane, or I could re-buy it because it broke about 40 times before I would spend as much as an iPhone costs.
Good point.
So
I thought you were going to say you could drop your phone 40 times and it wouldn't break. And I was like, what do you have, a Nokia?
No. I mean, it would break. It would break. It's got a case. It's doing well.
Yeah.
But, it's never going to cost as much as an iPhone. I will never spend that much on a phone, I don't think. All weight loss drugs are not created equal. 8772 Radio U. And now we finally have answers on what sets them apart, and crucially, which are better than others. If you want to lose weight, you want to go with Mounjaro. You want to go with the Tirzepatide. And you want to stay away from Wegovy, which is the semaglutide, which isn't that also Ozempic?
Yes, Ozempic is also a GLP-1.
And it also says that Zepbound, which I feel like I've heard of, is one of the other Tirzepatide options.
Yeah.
A new study that was just done by Weill Cornell Medicine I'm assuming that's like Cornell, like the Ivy League school.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, they did a study. And what they found after 72 weeks is that people that were on the tirzepatide, again, that's Mounjaro and Zepbound, lost 20.2% of their body weight, while those on the semaglutide, a.k.a. Wegovy and Ozempic, only dropped 13.7% of their body weight.
That's a big difference.
That is a meaningful difference.
Yeah.
If you just like simply boiled it down, right? If you were 200 pounds, that means if you took Mounjaro, you'd be down 40 pounds on average. And if you took the other option, you'd be down 26. So that's a pretty big difference.
That's a huge difference, especially if you are talking about life improvement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those pounds matter in that.
And obviously, the heavier you are, the more
at risk you can be for certain things.
And the more you this scales up, the 20% is obviously 20% is more when you're 400 pounds than 200. You know, it's a big it compounds.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I think this is really helpful information. And they also said that like basically the side effects were the same, were
similar.
The differences between the side effects were negligible.
Yeah.
But more people wound up sticking on the Mounjaro version, which I would imagine is partially because they saw better results.
Well, yeah, you want to stick with it, but also I think they said they either the symptoms were less bad or they just didn't experience symptoms at all.
Mm-hmm.
For the semaglutide ones, they were a little bit more extreme. But I didn't know this, but I thought this was really interesting. So I knew that what the Ozempic and these weight loss drugs do was they help produce hormones for you that naturally help you, lose weight by either slowing down your digestion or, curbing your appetite.
Yeah.
But the difference and why they estimate why they're seeing such a big difference and why you're losing more weight with one versus the other is that not only does the, what did you say it was called, like the
Tirzepatide?
Tirzepatide.
That's how I think it's pronounced.
Yeah.
The Mounjaro version.
I'm not sure. I didn't know there was a difference in these until I, read this article. But it hits that same GLP-1 target hormone that, the semaglutide one does. But it also activates a second hormone called, I think, GIP. And this dual action of the two hormones working together proves to be a little bit better, a little more effective.
Wow.
So that's the difference there.
Now we have answers. I guess it should be noted this is one study.
Yeah.
And maybe it was funded by Mounjaro for all we know.
Yeah, we were not sure.
But I don't know. It seems pretty concrete here. And I'll tell you what, I mean, there's other things too. Maybe one is cheaper than the other. Maybe your insurance would cover one and not the other, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But
either way, I think you're going to get results from either
I think
one.
It sounds like either option you get should make a difference. We're talking about in 72 weeks, just over a year, about a year and a half, you're losing a quarter of your body, or I guess a fifth of your body weight.
That's impressive.
That's meaningful. Awfully tempting.
We are back with Right Up My Alley. We teased this yesterday. This is, as described, the segment where I get to quiz Hudson on something that I know too much about. The questions get progressively harder. I ask 3 every single time. And today we are doing horror movies.
Don't forget, you can play along at home or wherever you are at 8772 RadioU. Send in your guesses. See if you know more than me and as much as Allie about horror movies.
Yes, I'm so excited for these questions. I had a lot of fun coming up with them.
Rest assured, I did not do any homework. I have not researched anything. However, if you do ask any horror movie questions about John Carpenter's The Thing, I might know those. That's my one horror movie I like.
I do ask a question about a John Carpenter film, but it's not The Thing.
Okay.
All right, so first question. In 1998, a shot-by-shot remake of Psycho was made. It was a huge flop.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this.
Yes, but it did have an all-star cast. Who played Norman Bates?
In 1998, I'm going to say Bruce Willis.
I mean, Not a horrible guess for that time period. It was Vince Vaughn.
What?
I need to see this.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, I did not know that this was made either.
In 1998, he would have been pretty young, though.
Yeah. It was a shot-for-shot remake, of the film, but box office flop.
Mm-hmm. Who directed it? Who was behind this idea?
I'm not sure who directed it. I think his name's Glenn something, but
he was never heard from again.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a well-known. At least from what I was looking at, I don't remember him, or wasn't familiar with his work.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But pretty good guess there.
Gus Van Sant.
Gus. I was going to say, I saw a G. I remember that. Okay, next one. After the movie Scream released in 1996, sticking with the 90s horror, I guess, this feature on phones tripled in use.
The feature on phones, 1996. Probably like the emergency 911 thing.
Nope. Caller ID.
Caller ID. Smart.
Caller ID tripled in use in 1996 after Scream released.
By the way,
it makes sense.
You said these get progressively harder. You started with a little-known Psycho remake from 1998.
Well, I know you knew of Psycho, so I just felt like maybe that would be something you would know.
Yeah.
Something odd. It's kind of oddball thing.
Yeah, that's definitely useless knowledge. But yeah, caller ID makes sense. Yes. I guess I've never seen Scream.
Yeah.
So.
You haven't seen Scream?
No.
I thought you had at least seen the first one.
I'm too scared to watch horror movies.
It's not that bad. Okay, last question. All right, Michael's mask in John Carpenter's Halloween was actually a whitewashed replica face mask of this popular TV show character, which the production designer purchased from a toy store before filming the movie.
Okay, I know this. Andy Griffith.
Nope. Captain Kirk from Star Trek.
Okay, I can see that.
You can kind of see it, right?
I can kind of see that, yeah.
They bought a few different masks, apparently a clown mask and then this Captain Kirk mask. They whitewashed them, and John Carpenter liked the way that the Captain Kirk mask looked because of how hollow and blank the stare was. It was really unsettling.
Yeah,
and so if you look closely, you can kind of see maybe some of the features there of what would have been a Captain Kirk face, and that's what Michael wears in Halloween.
I'm glad they didn't go with clown.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have changed everything.
It would have, and it's just not as iconic with the Michael look.
It would have felt you could tell it would be a clown, right?
Yes.
Even though if it was completely whitewashed, but it would have felt too generic.
Yep.
Not its own thing.
It really does stand out. Its
own thing that spawned like 12 other movies at this point. And they just, no signs of stopping.
No.
Well, it seems the balance of power has shifted. 8772 Radio U in the Eastern Conference, the NBA. The Knicks went up 3-1 on the Celtics last night with their win. It seems like the defending champs are all but done for in these playoffs, and we're going to have a new NBA champion. Could it even possibly be the New York Knicks?
Can't rule them out.
Can't rule them out at this point. It was, I don't know, if you didn't see the game, the Celtics got out to a quick start. They looked good at first, but what have we seen in 3 out of the 4 games? The Celtics get out to a hot start and look pretty good, and then the end of the game comes around and they don't look so good no more.
Yeah, here comes the Knicks, and they look unstoppable.
The shift in this game happened a little earlier because, in the third quarter, the Knicks had already pulled back into the game and taken the lead, I believe. But the other headline was that Jason Tatum, the Celtics star, exited the game in the fourth quarter with an apparent leg injury. They showed him getting carted around in a wheelchair. Did not look good.
Oh my.
So don't know if we have any idea yet exactly what the injury is, but it's very possible.
I think he's getting an MRI. At least he might have gotten one last night, maybe getting one today, but they haven't announced what it is yet.
But it wouldn't be shocking if he's done for the next game or possibly the rest of the series, however long it goes. And so that would be a crushing blow to the Celtics' already slim hopes of coming back from 3-1.
Yeah.
to continue their title defense.
Yeah, I'll never rule the Celtics out, especially at TD Garden. So I think there's definitely a shot that this could go back to New York for Game 6, but not looking good. I mean, it's the same situation of what I talked about yesterday with the Cavaliers. It's just it's so hard to come back from 3-1.
In the
it's almost
NBA,
impossible.
It's basically never. LeBron did it in the finals once against the Warriors. Other than that, I think it's only been done in the bubble in the COVID playoffs.
Yeah.
So in other words, it never happens.
Yeah, it's literally basically you can slim it down to that one time, which was the Cavs.
That was LeBron.
And it was LeBron and Kyrie really, because they both went like 40 points back to back to make sure that they could get it to Game 7.
And I have to imagine that if LeBron or Kyrie had missed one of those games, then that series would be over.
Yeah.
And that looks like what the Celtics are dealing with here. So
right.
It looks like Jason Tatum's going to be out. And by the way, Jason Tatum's not LeBron either. So even if he does play, I don't think they're gonna mount that 3-1 comeback.
Yeah, and you need more than just LeBron. You needed both Kyrie and LeBron to get 40. So you would need Brown and Tatum to hit 40 to make sure they could seal the win against the Knicks. Because if you give the Knicks an edge, I mean, they had a 14-point lead. If you give them an edge, just a little inch of hope, they'll take it.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson will crush you.
Yeah.
He's got that energy to close out a game.
He's clutch, Mr. Clutch.
Yeah, he really is. And I'm excited about this.
You're excited about the Knicks?
I don't find the Celtics fun at all.
Okay.
I don't like their players aren't likable to me.
Okay. I think Jaylen Brown's pretty likable.
I don't know.
I don't like Jason Tatum at all.
Yeah, boring.
Deuce.
Captain. Yeah, right. But Jalen Brunson, he's fun. The Knicks to have the Madison Square Garden energy and finally give for all the love, the Knicks are such a high-profile team. They haven't had success in forever.
Yeah, and they had a very weird regular season. So this is a huge shock.
Yeah,
that they've been able to do this.
It's a surprise. I remember saying before Game 2, I'd be like, I would be absolutely jaw on the floor if the Celtics don't win Game 2, and then they didn't. And so, but ever since then, it's just been like, you don't come back in the NBA. You don't.
Yeah,
once you get down in a hole, you're done.
It's tough, especially in the playoffs.
And so it looks like we're setting up for Knicks Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
That's gonna be that's like a throwback to the 90s. I don't know if you kept track of this. 8772 Radio U. A few days ago was the Met Gala. Zendaya was there wearing a hat. Coincidence? I think not. It all adds up. Zendaya wearing a hat. Tom Holland. She was in movies. I think the answers are right in front of us.
Okay.
I think everything is crystal clear.
I have no idea what this is.
It's Zendaya hat theory.
Yeah, what is that?
The theory that Zendaya's hat is behind it all. Maybe controlling her in some way.
Oh, it's like Meet the Robinsons.
Yes, exactly. Was she in that?
No, but in that
Or
movie,
was she?
In that movie, the hat controls you.
Mm-hmm. I think this is what's happening.
And it's literally like the hat. It's similar to the hat she's wearing.
How else do you explain it?
Maybe. I don't know.
How else do you explain anything? Okay, so here's the thing. This is...
My favorite comment on the explanation video of this that's gone viral is Zendaya spelled backwards is hat.
Yeah. So this is, to be clear, a nonsensical conspiracy theory that really is just, it's made for TikTok where people will do AI generated voiceovers, nonsense, literally things that don't make sense or aren't true.
Yeah.
And then present it as a conspiracy theory. And it does really well on TikTok because TikTok doesn't know the difference and it promotes it. When you have the ominous conspiracy theory music and just it's a mystery, but we'll explain it. And the videos start off in a way that if you don't know, you're like, wait, what?
What? What's going on here?
You're drawn in, and by the time you realize, you either think it's funny or it's too late.
Right. You're like, what is this?
You've already watched it enough to mess up the algorithm. So,
right.
Zendaya hat theory actually makes no sense, but this is my favorite kind of conspiracy theory. that nobody believes, but is really fun. Like the one of the popular ones that got this started is Zendaya in 2014, unfortunately wore a hat. In 2021, she was in a movie with Tom Holland. Now she's dating small man Tom Holland. It all makes sense, basically.
It all adds up.
Yeah, even though he was never in Dune, by the way.
They were in Spider-Man together.
Yeah, they were in Spider-Man, but there's no basis in fact besides the fact that Zendaya has, in fact, worn a hat now multiple times.
Yeah.
And is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
I don't think so. But also, everybody keeps showing, which I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it is very creepy. They keep showing the image from the Babadook, which is a horror movie.
Oh, now that's getting involved. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I obviously haven't seen that.
The Babadook wears a hat, and I think that's why they're like
it all adds up.
They're pointing it all together.
Yes. Now the pieces are starting to the puzzle is starting to connect.
Yeah,
it's starting to make sense to me. Man, TikTok has gotten so fun. I hope I'm willing to give up.
Staying around?
Yeah.
Do we have any updates on that?
I'm willing to give up whatever needs to be given up to keep TikTok around for this, for all the AI stuff, the Italian brain rot. This is what I live for.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you talk about it a lot.
Yeah, ballerina cappuccina. This is my world now.
I don't need any of this stuff because you just keep me up to date. I haven't had TikTok in years.
You would. It's probably too dumb for you, actually. Brings me no pleasure, no joy to present this to you, but Mother's Day in Los Angeles, 6:06 a.m. Amazon driver already out doing deliveries. A real go-getter.
Sure.
Seems like, and maybe that was something that needed to be delivered for Mother's Day. It was an important gift for mom. But the problem is, this delivery driver left more than one gift behind on the porch of this delivery, and there's video evidence of this happening. We have another pooper story, Allie.
Oh no, not another one.
Yeah, this time an Amazon delivery driver. And the news description of this is amazing. She's caught red-handed, to say the least. Where there's footage, multiple videos, I think from possibly multiple angles at this house, where the driver drops off the delivery and then pulls down her shorts, relieves herself on the front porches of two different homes.
What?
In the first video, she comes up the stairs to deliver the package, then shows what appears to be human feces. There's no other way to describe it. It also says the ground in front of the fecal matter appeared to be wet from an unknown substance as well.
I wonder what substance that was.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty known.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely known. The surveillance camera also catches her pulling up her pants, and then additionally, there's a video that shows a dirty paper towel as well littered on the ground.
What is this person doing? Just leaving all this stuff behind.
All the evidence. Well, and one says that the video shows somebody, like her making eye contact with the camera.
Oh,
like she knows what she's doing.
So maybe this is like a retaliation thing.
It could be. We don't have any news, any updates on that.
Any confirmation on that, yeah.
Of course, Amazon has acknowledged the situation. They say that this woman will no longer be delivering packages on the company's behalf.
I would hope so. She was delivering packages on Amazon's behalf and on her own behalf.
Yeah.
She was delivering more than just packages.
But that's an interesting way to put it. No longer be delivering packages. So she's not fired?
I know. That is a little a curious way to put that.
Surely she's fired, right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
But what a way to wake up on Sunday, on Mother's Day morning. You're like, hey,
Happy
the package is delivered.
Mom. Here's your Amazon package, and here's something else.
Oh, no. Well,
what's this?
In honor of Mother's Day, don't worry about this, Mom. I will clean it up. I got this one.
That's the least you could do.
You just relax. you just enjoy your breakfast in bed. We got a new pope last week. 8772 Radio U. Pope Leo, what is it, 16th?
I think he's the 14th.
14th. It's been so fun having a new pope. It feels like he's been very well received.
I think all popes are usually pretty well received.
Yeah, you don't have a chance to dislike them yet when they're brand new.
They haven't done anything.
Yeah, you've never heard of them. But it seems like everybody likes Pope Leo. Yeah. Robert Prevost or whatever his name was.
He seems quite likable.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
And American, so that makes it a little more fun for us. But it's funny, I think partially because he is American, but so many people, since he was announced as the new pope, revealed as the new pope, have been talking about like the Pope that would not only that aren't Catholics like you or I, but people that aren't even religious at all, but like just really get drawn into it. It's a fun, exciting news event.
Exactly. It's like, and I think we mentioned this when we first talked about him being announced, as even for, us, we're not Catholic, we're Christians, but we're not Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
But we still recognize how important this man is, very influential.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is something that kind of captivates a lot of people, even if you have no tie to the Catholic Church.
Yeah, it is captivating. It's also because he's American, there's a lot of American sports angles. So maybe because I listen to a lot of sports stuff, that's connected in where, he's a White Sox fan. He went to Villanova. So some interesting fandom, I'm sure, for him.
Yeah.
I did hear, this brings me to, I heard Nick Wright of First Things First.
Yes.
Talking about the Pope.
Okay.
And which got him on the whole topic of religion. He says he's not really a religious guy, but he told an interesting story.
Okay.
That he said, well, I'm not a religious guy, but I feel like many people have gone through this where his dad was unexpectedly hospitalized, like a surprise shock out of nowhere. Dad was healthy, wound up in the hospital. He gets the call. And so he doesn't know what's going on. He's driving to the hospital and he's praying, like, please let my dad be okay, blah, blah, blah. His dad wound up being okay. And he's like, I'm not religious, but you still find yourself doing that, even if, in
those moments when you don't know what else to do.
And to me, I hear that story and I'm like, why wouldn't you want that all the time, though?
Yeah.
Like, you hear that story, your dad wound up being okay. You had that comfort and hope and just something to lean on in a time of crisis. But you can have that all the time.
Anytime, yeah. Not even when you're in a moment of crisis, maybe even when you're going through something good. We don't always think about praying when we're going through a good time and we're not in need of something. But yeah, I completely agree. Like, why would you deny yourself the ability to have that thing, that support system that is God, that you can lean on in those hard moments, those good times, whatever it is you're going through. So yeah, and I ask myself that sometimes because I have to remind myself to pray and to, maintain that relationship that I have with Jesus, because you can't have a relationship if you're not talking to somebody.
There's got to be the back and forth.
Yeah. So, and you're not listening to what is being said to you as well. So, yeah, I always ask myself that question too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why wait till you're in dire circumstances at the end of your rope before you try God as an option? Like, Jesus is there whenever. He's there in the good times. He's there in the bad times. He's there in all of the in-between. And he's ready. And that's something that you can just have, that power and that, again, that comfort and hope and so much more can come to you whenever you want it. And why not take advantage of that way more often?
Absolutely. And what you will realize is you need Jesus more than just in the moments when you think you do.
That's right.
And you'll start to notice that when you pray every single day.
Find out about that. You can do it wherever you are right now. Say, hey, God, I want you in my life. I want to know more about you. And watch what happens. You can also go to RadioU.com/free gift to find out more. Just when we needed it, two Canadian icons are teaming up to change breakfast as we know it. I'm talking about Tim Hortons and Ryan Reynolds.
Whoa. Honestly, I didn't even know Ryan Reynolds was Canadian.
He is Canadian. He has dual citizenship, of course. But
he does.
He's from Vancouver. I didn't even know you could still do dual citizenship. But
I didn't either.
Maybe I should look into that. Sounds kind of perfect for me. Ryan Reynolds now has his own menu item on the Tim Hortons breakfast menu that you can get right here in the United States. It's called Ryan's Scrambled Egg Loaded Breakfast Box, and it sounds delicious.
It does sound good, but maybe that's just because I'm hungry right now.
Yeah, but I mean, this would be a great way to start your day. It's a box filled with freshly scrambled seasoned eggs, crispy hash browns, and your choice of double smoked bacon or sausage crumbles, all topped off with Tim Hortons creamy chipotle sauce.
Okay, I'm getting very hungry right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting very hungry.
We should just do an impromptu food fight. Let's just get Tim Hortons to deliver right now.
We're just going to go get it.
This sounds so great.
This sounds delicious. The picture looks awesome too.
It does. It also looks like, I don't know if this is specifically Ryan Reynolds or not, but it looks like you can get it in a burrito or a breakfast wrap version as well, which would probably be the way I go because I want those unnecessary carbs added in as well.
Yeah, the burrito looks really nice just because it's very compact. Maybe a little less messy. I don't know which one would be less messy. It's it's a lot of things all together, all smushed together.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're adding sauce to breakfast, I mean, it's not syrup.
No,
but it can get a little messy. And what better way to enjoy this than paired with a Tim Hortons coffee, of course.
I mean, I wouldn't choose to do that, but you are more than free to do that.
I love this. There's even there's a commercial to go with it as well. It's really fun, and I like seeing Tim Hortons in the news. And honestly, yeah, we just needed some good Canada stuff going on right now.
You did?
Yeah, we needed something to put a smile on the Canadian faces.
Why are they not smiling?
There's just been a lot of aggravation between the United States and Canada, a lot of tension.
Oh.
And I just think we need something to remind us that we're all friends.
Yeah.
We can all get along.
Why can't we all just get along?
There's still things we can agree on.
Absolutely.
Like Tim Hortons breakfast, delicious. Tim Hortons coffee, amazing. Ryan Reynolds, fun.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to do this for a food fight. Sooner than later.
Yes.
Imagine this. Your sister's pregnant. Yay! You're a pretty good baker. Can you bake the gender reveal cake?
Oh.
For the gender reveal party, they say. All right, 8772 Radio U, you're with me, right? But you ask your sister, okay, what's the gender? And she's like, well, I want to be surprised too, so I don't know. I'll have somebody else get you that info closer to the party. And that person never does. You still got to make a gender reveal cake. What do you do? This is a situation that is played out, and a guy is now posting recently on Reddit about this going down. He chose a route that has gotten him roundly criticized by his family because he still had to make a cake.
Yeah.
But nobody ever told him what the gender for the cake was supposed to be.
Did he follow up with anyone?
He did follow up, yes. He checked in, never got an answer. So he had to improvise. He had to just figure it out. And so here's what he did after, again, checking shortly before the party was supposed to happen when he needed to make this cake. He checked in and did not get an answer, never heard from anybody. And so what he did was he made the inside of the gender reveal cake gray.
Oh, no.
That was not the right move.
No.
Now, Allie, tell me what you would have done. Because as soon as I saw the story, I saw what he did. I was like, I mean, they can't be mad at him because they asked him to bake the cake. His sister asked him to bake the cake and nobody ever told him the gender. What is he supposed to do? But I do know what the right thing to do was.
Okay, yeah, I would not have made a cake if I didn't know the gender.
Oh, you just would have, they would have been cakeless.
They would have been cakeless.
The crux of the party.
Maybe what I would have done instead was I would have maybe, instead of buying the ingredients, maybe go get cupcakes.
Okay.
Blue ones and pink ones and be like, all right, somebody tell me what it's going to be and then I'll bring these ones out.
But they asked you to bake a cake.
Well, I'm not baking a cake if I don't.
They love your cakes.
If the cake, the point of the cake is to reveal the gender.
Yeah.
If I can't reveal the gender, why would I bake the cake?
Because I have the solution.
Okay, give the solution.
I have the answer for what this guy should have done. I mean, he's a good baker, right? He knew how to make the inside gray.
Apparently, I don't know.
You bake a cake, half of it pink, half of it blue, in shortly before whoever the person is that has been trusted with the gender of the baby information. You got to get with them. You got to figure this out. And then you're like, okay, make sure that they get the piece from this side because that's the pink side. Boom.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
So you just wanted to be able to, no matter what, you wanted to cover your bases.
You got to cover both bases. Yeah. I mean, only the first piece of the cake matters.
Yeah.
And so the blue side, nobody will remember that there was the wrong side if they open up the right side for the gender reveal.
If there's a big if there. What if you forget?
No, you wouldn't. You. That's on you. You've got to.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You're adding some parameters here of it going potentially wrong, and then you got Uncle Jimmy telling everybody that they're having a boy when really they're having a girl, and there's a lot of family confusion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Is that really the right solution?
I think that you got to trust yourself.
I think you just got to keep calling until somebody gives you an answer.
I feel like I don't even know if he knew who to call because obviously the sister's the one who's pregnant.
Yes.
She was the one that had asked him to make the cake and said, I'll have somebody get you the info, the baby's gender without me knowing.
This is where it's starting to sound fishy.
But
I don't know if I trust that this guy really did his due diligence on following up.
He says he called. He said...
Who did he call?
He said, she says, I want to be surprised too. Just make it neutral for she literally said, just make it neutral for the reveal and we'll all find out together, which I don't know.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Make it neutral? What? It's a gender reveal. There's nothing neutral about that.
She says she'll have someone email the info to him later. That someone never did. The deadline comes. I have no gender, so I make the cake. It's gray inside, gray outside, just full on cement.
And
Why would you do that?
You didn't call again? You didn't call again after the email didn't come? Keep calling. That's what I don't get. Why would you go through all this trouble of making a gray cake? Clearly, it says almost like a joke.
I don't know. The gray is a real mystery to me.
I don't understand
why would ever want a gray
cake? Why would
cake?
you go through with that
make
part of it?
Make it yellow. Make it fun.
Well, and that's the fishy part about all of this is it's like, why would you go through with making a gray cake instead of just following up?
I mean, is it his responsibility?
I don't think it is, but why would you go through the trouble of making a cake if you don't know the gender? That's the whole point of the cake.
And it's gray. You make it all the colors you could have chosen.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.